Welcome to Love and Relo, the voice of the relocation industry, the voice of the young professionals today. This is the YP40 2.0 edition. Thank you to Worldwide ERC for allowing us to go live and be candid and tell you our thoughts. We're joined by the second half of the YP40 committee. We have our distinguished chair, Christopher Ward, who uses full first name, from AIRINC. How you doing, Christopher?
I'm doing very well. Happy it's Friday. Happy to be back on here with you and the rest of the YP team.
Where in the world are you right now?
So Cambridge, Mass, basically Boston.
Cambridge is smart for Boston, for those of you out there.
Exactly. Harvard.
Awesome. Kaitlin Nygren, how are you doing today, Kaitlin?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Now, where are you right now?
I'm currently in Ithaca, New York, although I'm here on a socially distant road trip. I normally am in the DC area.
Ithaca is actually smart for upstate New York.
Yes.
Where Cornell is. Yes, we're checking the Ivy League boxes, yes. Awesome. Great to have you, Kaitlin. Erin Weber, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. And Erin, you're at Envoy, but where are you physically located right now?
In Chicago.
Chi-Town. All right. Is there an Ivy League school in Chicago?
No.
University of Chicago.
Chicago, Northwestern. I mean, you know. Anyway, whatever. I had a thing going. Erin, what do you say?
I said Big Ten love.
There you go. Speaking of Big Ten love, Thomas Bailey, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, buddy, Big Ten love. Yeah, good segue right here. Thank you. How are you?
Well, I mean, we're in U of M country, right? I mean, you're in Michigan.
We are.
Right?
We are. Yeah, of course. At the moment, yeah, sure.
Being presumptuous. Well, actually, and then your sister go to the University of Michigan as well, Thomas?
No, not at all.
Cousin?
Yeah. Yes, cousin did.
Okay, don't act like I'm crazy here. Okay,
I didn't know where you were going. I haven't seen you in a while. I miss you. I'm just smiling right now, brother. Yeah. Cousin Michigan, other cousin Michigan State, same household.
There you go. Both Big Ten.
Go State.
Yeah. Christina Blondheim, how are you?
Ben, I'm fabulous. How are you?
Christina, you're like my partner in crime on these things. We've been doing a lot of shenanigans lately.
I feel like I talk to you more than anybody else every day.
Yeah, same. It's kind of weird, but you know,
maybe
like it.
You know, stop calling as much.
It can be a bit much.
It's a bit much, right?
Right.
You and Thomas should start a support group. Seriously.
Yeah, we got.
You know how it goes.
We should
start our own podcast dealing with Ben.
I
like it.
Yeah.
Y'all are tripping. Okay. We got some folks chiming in here. We got Jamie Massler. Shout out to the YP40 crew. Cheers from Rainy, Mississippi. What's up, Jamie? Carmen, hello from TRC Global Mobility, Connecticut. Feel free to shout out your favorite YP also. You know, go ahead and shout yourself out. Let us know where you're at, your company. But also, you know, shout out your favorite YP. You can play favorites. It's fine. We don't need to be fair here, you know. We can score. Drew Phillips, what's up, YP? Hey, Drew. Rob Zeitz, Ithaca College grad in Boston area here.
Roberto.
Right. Nice. It's
gorgeous. It's Ithaca. It's the slogan for
Ithaca.
Oh, look at that. Smart. Yeah, smart. Real smart.
Wicked smart. Lisa Thomas, shout out to Ann Arbor. Lynn Shotwell. Hey, Lynn, how's it going? Hi, Ben and Thomas. Go green. Okay. Go white.
I like that. Okay. All right, Lynn.
All right. I always felt weird when somebody say go green.
Ben, I feel like you're putting us up on like human trafficking when you're like, pick your favorite.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, all around.
I mean, it is global mobility. I mean, I don't know. Lynn number 2, Lynn Greenberg. How's it going? Hey, Heidi, how are you? Let's all say hi to Heidi right now.
Hi, Heidi.
Hey, Heidi.
Oh my God. Hi, Heidi.
Yeah,
Immediate like sadness.
Oh yeah. Well, Heidi, we got something for you a little later, so you just stay tuned. All right. Vinny Valverde, hi youngsters. Cheers from Portland, Oregon.
Yes.
West Coast.
Such an amazing morale boost seeing some of my favorite people. That's nice. Vinny's a walking, talking morale boost, I think.
He's an amazing human, that's for sure.
We have a third for the How to Deal with Ben support group.
Strong interest.
Fastest growing group on
We'll
LinkedIn.
have more people than the view.
strong interest.
Get that on the community.
This is awesome. Amanda, Carmen checking in here. Oh, we got a vote for Chris. Christopher has a vote. All right. Wes Strubing, I would join the Dealing with Ben support group. Fantastic. This is great. Really. So happy right now. Sylvia Rivas, hello from South America. Wes from Oklahoma. William Keating, hello from sunny South Florida, aka the COVID hotspot. Age 43. Am I allowed to watch today's program? Go Blue. Hey everybody, hit that like button, hit the applause button. Let's give our group a round of applause here. We're going to talk about everything from personal branding to what crazy stuff we're getting into these days in the world of COVID and being socially distant. We're going to take questions as well. So feel free to ask some of our esteemed panel whatever you want. It can be Relo, it can be love, it can be none of the above. Just throw it right out there and we will answer it. Ryan Watroba, my former chair. Hi, Ben, Christina, Thomas, Chris, Kaitlin, and Erin. Happy Friday from upstate New York. What's up, Ryan? I will count that as a vote for all. Lisa Baronich checking in. Janet Turner, is Chris going to make an origami today? Chris, you going to make an origami?
It took 10 minutes. I ran out of paper. Yours is in the mail, Janet.
We have a vote for Thomas Bailey.
From Thomas Bailey.
Well, even in the presidentials, you can vote for yourself at least once, right?
At least somebody loves you, At least there we go. I got 2 in a row.
Sympathy votes are pouring in. All right, fantastic. Let's start off real quick. So here we are. It's a weird time right now. We were kind of emerging out of this whole COVID thing. Now we're kind of going back into it. We're going to kind of keep it light. That can be kind of a downer, but we're going to keep it a little light. But I want to hear about some of the more interesting and fun things that you've done lately in this kind of new environment. Kaitlin, that's almost for you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I went on my first socially distant road trip this week. We have 2 toddlers and we're getting a little stir crazy at home. So my husband boldly decided that he's like, I will take the kids this week. You can just work from the hotel, totally fine, and I will just handle them myself. And so we packed up. We went to Niagara Falls. No one was there. It was great. We went to, where else did we go? Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, and now we're in Ithaca for a couple of days. So
wow.
It's going pretty well. We are like one of 10 people staying in hotels. So there's no one there. Everyone's like masked up and everything like that. But I honestly feel like we've run into no people. Like the grocery store at home is far more crowded than like any of the places we've been here. So it's kind of nice, even though it's just a hotel room, a little change of scenery, eat different takeout food to go and some different hiking trails.
There are 4 of you in the car at one time.
Plus
it's
our
not
dog.
like you're in the motorcycle
Correct.
side car. Right?
Correct. No, we have 2 adults, 2 small toddlers, and a dog, and all my work stuff. So
Nice.
It's going pretty well.
It's interesting because I feel like this is also an opportunity to kind of dip your toe into digital nomadism. If you'd ever been kind of, flirting with the idea, just going off to Thailand and just working, or something.
Yeah. I think you might be stuck domestically, but it's a good time to I haven't been to this part of the country before. It's a good time to safely with masks and hand sanitizer, check it out. But
has anybody else had any kind of other interesting experiences?
Nope, I learned how to play the violin, but that's about it.
Well, that's kind of big.
Yeah, what do you mean that's about it? Like, how do you just learn how to play the violin?
Did you teach yourself? Or
I can't play the violin.
Oh, that was made up.
You just made that one up.
Dang.
Like, oh wow.
I mean,
Wasn't that seen my famous videos of me just playing around the violin?
She does mobility on the side, guys.
Where are those videos? If anybody wants to watch those crazy videos you play
Oh,
on the
they're all
violin?
over social media.
Mobility is plan B for her.
So has anybody else picked up any hobbies or anything like that that they want to share? Besides, Chris, what about your origami hobby there?
I mean, I'm desperate to get off the origami conversation, but I've been cooking a lot. So I've been eating a lot of pasta. I've gained a lot of weight.
You got quarantine pounds?
I think so. I haven't been keeping up with my running, unfortunately, Thomas. But food's been delicious. And then I'm getting a rental car and I'm going up to Maine to visit one of my buddies. So that's
nice.
like the closest to normal thing I've done in a long time.
Nice.
Because cooking for me is
we got a question. We got a question here actually for Kaitlin. Kaitlin, what is Servicengine?
Well, I didn't get my elevator pitch ready, but Servicengine is a workflow management system. It's used by a lot of the RMCs, some of the corporations, and some of the DSPs. So it's workflow management for keeping tabs on all of your vendors, basically. So you have, you're tracking everything going out to, household goods moves or transportation, temp living, things like that. We also do some expense management, processing, tax, and compensation, that kind of thing. So a little bit of everything, but my favorite part of it is getting to work with, across the industry. So like kind of the same thing that we do here, we're working across a bunch of different companies. I get to kind of see a lot of the bits and pieces from around the industry. So, does that answer your question?
Nice. Yeah, and Kaitlin, how long have you been there?
I have been at Servicengine about 5 years. Before that, I was at Dwellworks for 5 years. Nice.
Awesome. So I want to also just ask some of the folks who have been at in the relocation industry kind of maybe a little longer. What is it about Worldwide ERC that has kind of attracted you and kind of inspired you to get more involved and then now be on the YP40 committee? What was it about Worldwide ERC?
Well, for me, I feel like ERC is such a melting pot, in so many different ways, there's so many different cultures and all that, but then company-wise as well. I mean, the reason why I jumped into YP, number one, is because I had a friend that was very persuasive and pulled you into everything that he does. I'm talking about you, Ben. But then once you get into any room at ERC, whether it's a breakout session or whatever, it's just so many different companies, in all rooms that cover so many different aspects of the relocation industry. Like on this call, for instance, we're kind of all over the map right now. So ERC is one of those places where you can go and kind of check off all the boxes for mobility. Oh, period.
Would anybody else like to comment on that?
No, I joined YP. I'm definitely a yes person, wanted to just get more involved in the industry. Heidi had started me off with I think it was the ERC PR box, and that was kind of fun and exciting. So she had invited me on, and I was really excited to just be a little bit more involved in the industry and global mobility as well, learn more from you guys. Period.
What was the PR box you said?
Yeah, you guys didn't get PR boxes from Worldwide ERC last year?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. No,
I didn't
my PR box.
Yeah, PR box. I was like, dang, what's a PR box, man?
Still waiting for that.
Why didn't I get one?
We're listening.
Yeah, we need some more of those.
No, it was a box. It was branding. It was really fun. It was a box with just a bunch of goodies, and they asked us to do videos of it last year before ERC, and there was quite a few good ones. I have to say, Michelle Velasquez, my counterpart at Preferred Corporate Housing. She didn't get one, but she made a pretty amazing one. She stuffed one with champagne and an iPhone and all this jazz. It was pretty great.
$100 bill. That video was perfect. That video was so good.
Yeah, hers was the best.
So we just got the notification about 2-3 days ago that Worldwide ERC is going to go to a virtual fall conference from October 28th, I think, to November 20th. Please fact check me in the comments. Let me know if I'm wrong or if I'm right, please. But yeah, it's like a 4-week month-long, content-heavy virtual conference. I think this is so interesting right now. I mean, obviously, I understand why, but how do you see? I just want to throw this out there to y'all, right? It's kind of like a thought exercise, I guess. But how do you see this working and being as good, or maybe even could it even potentially be better than an in-person experience? And I'd love to understand your thoughts around that. Christina, would you like to lead us off?
I kind of like the idea of spreading it out over a longer period of time, because I think that lends itself to people's schedules instead of having like a set number of days where it's like today at 2, be there, or catch the recording later. I think giving people more of an opportunity to spread it out could actually help bring even more people in to listen.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point, right? Because there's so many people that don't get a chance to go, right? So if it's in DC, you know, you might send 1, 2, 3 people from your company. You probably can't send 10, 20 people, you know, but if it's remote, I mean, maybe you could, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I figured the attendance definitely stands a chance to be much larger than, you know, some of the other ones, just because of that simple fact. Like, you know, there's quite a few people in my office that would attend some of those sessions, but they just wouldn't be the ones to hop on a plane and go hang out with you wonderful people. So I would assume that the attendance on certain days will spike for sure.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody's in a client development role, right, Thomas? They might be in other types of operational functions, you know. So, I mean, not everybody has those big fancy titles that get to go and run up the bar tab. You know, some people have to sit back and actually do the real work. And so I think it'd be really cool if they got an opportunity to see some of the learnings, you know.
I think a lot of associations that, you know, we've all dealt with in some ways, trying to figure out ways to get people to interact, you know, during the off season, or the people that don't get to come that still pay dues. So this would be a perfect chance for ERC to kind of show what they've got, and I'm sure that they'll do a great job, because when I saw the announcement, I'm like, oh, that's a great idea to not pack it into 3 or 4 days, you know?
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think, Chris?
I think it's a good opportunity for the regional groups to kind of step it up, right? Because I think, you know, there's going to be hesitation doing this big old conference and bringing all sorts of, you know, folks from all regions. But, you know, I think there's a better appetite to kind of test the waters there at a regional level. So I think, you know, it's an opportunity for regional groups to do something or a little more than what they've been doing. You know, you get what you put into any conference, whether you're going there or you're doing it virtually. So I mean, that's my thoughts for the GWS this year. But
how do you foster that engagement? You know, it's easy when you're in person, right? I mean, heck, we go to some of these breakouts sometimes, right? And we're checking our email anyway and doing whatever, and we're sitting in the room. We came all the way to Boston, and we're sitting in the room, you know, doing whatever we're doing, right? Sometimes, but it's easy to get engaged when Thomas comes up to me and says, "Hey, buddy, how's it going?" You know, I'm like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" You know, and it's easy to be engaged when you're in the room and you're talking to people. Is there a way that you could foresee? I mean, looking at some of the stuff that we've been doing, some of the stuff we're doing, like right now, what we're doing, is there a way you could see to actually improve the engagement of the attendees?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think there's all sorts of things for like polling and technology, right? Ways that folks can kind of have given input before they go into, you know, a session and then have a conversation about the data. So I think that's a big way to solicit input and engagement.
Mm-hmm. I was going to add to that polling. We do a lot of like pre-session surveys for people who sign up to attend like our webinars or the virtual events that we've been having. And I think that gives incentive to attend afterward, because you want to see what your peers are saying about the same topics. And I also think making it having video in the session is super.
I don't know how much about like what's been planned so far. So sorry, ERC. But I feel like the opportunity to do like breakout sessions or something like that of like, oh, you came to this session, now, here's an open forum to talk about it, or, along those lines, could be a good opportunity as well. So you still get that kind of engagement and communication. Or maybe that's, again, Chris, another opportunity to take it again back to the regional groups of, we all went to this session. What are your thoughts?
I think that polling thing would be great too, Sarvin. I think that polling thing is great because in a normal session, I'm not sure that you don't get 100% of the people in the room pull out their phone and download the app and do it correctly, and jump in and participate. But at this point, if you're doing it virtual anyway from your laptop, it's gonna be so much more information or so much more to pull from, because people are going to be actively clicking and going through, so you get more feedback that way.
They do these corporate roundtables, for instance, right? And the idea is to get 50, 100 corporate practitioner HR business partners in the room, sharing policy, sharing benchmarking, best practices, all those buzzwords, right? And usually you're at a round table, you're probably at a table of 8 or 10 other people. You're in a room of maybe 50. There's potential, if done right, where you could actually have 500 corporate folks attending and actually giving data, and you have a much larger sample size, and then you'd be able to slice and dice it by industry and sector and things like that, program type and size and scope, and things like that, and just have a much bigger data set, because now you don't actually have to, now you're not only pulling data from people who can afford to travel to DC. Now it's accessible to people, theoretically people everywhere. It could be more interesting that way. Let's say, let's see what Lynn says. This is the closest Lynn Shotwell has come to being on this program. So I want to feature Lynn's comments right here. It's almost like she's with us. Lynn says, "This is all music to my ears. We have awesome technology to provide a different conference experience. This is a great chance for us to do all the things you are suggesting. Keep the ideas coming." Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate that. Let's see here.
Go ahead. Sorry, Ben. Real quick, has ERC ever done any type of virtual conference?
May.
Yeah, just did the Road to Recovery.
Okay. One that was from Houston. Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, and that was kind of like webinar, webinary, and I think webinars are cool, but they're kind of definitely a push information at you kind of thing instead of kind of a dialogue. Yeah. And I think that's like, if you can achieve dialogue, I think that's when it gets really, really interesting.
Ryan made the comment, Ben, about like following up with information too, and taking so when we do our webinars, and I think a lot of the marketing group, the teams are just getting better with the functionality. So the virtual events are just becoming more and more like seamless. But it just, when you register for events and you leave, in-person events and you don't have time to answer your question, in a virtual event, you're able to, and ERC or whoever is able to provide a detailed response, knowing your information and having it there. So it's a good way to exchange information and really make sure you get what you want to get out of attending these sessions.
That's a great point, because you ever see like a really good session, and at the end there's like 5 or 10 people lined up to talk to the speaker, and then they're like looking at their watch because they got to get into the next breakout because there's a 10-minute break.
2 minutes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. And then people start filtering in the room while you're still basking in the afterglow of an amazing informational session, and all these people are coming in, and people are like messing with the projector, and you're like, hey, I just really want to ask this person, or kiss up to this prospective client, and so now you actually have that time to do that, right?
I pictured that very well. Good job, Ben. That was
awesome.
I saw the whole thing there,
I painted a picture.
You did a great job. The picture has been painted. I'm gonna put it on my wall. So no, but I just was thinking though, a lot of the topics that over a month's time, a lot of the topics will kind of be rehatched, obviously, over these days. And to Ryan's point, though, some of the feedback that ERC will get from, or questions that they'll get from one session, when that topic comes back up, they can kind of pivot and move on the fly, and then really address what people maybe didn't get or wanted to hear from that first session about, whatever. So it could actually be great.
you know, to the points that have been brought up, you know, Vinny says, what I would love to see ERC doing during this month-long GWS is to tap on the amazing regional councils to have a more specific targeted focus related to the area. For example, PRC focusing on Portland area, HRP on Houston, RMRC and Rocky Mountain, et cetera. They're amazing talent that we can tap in. You know, I think that would be kind of cool too, where you know, we could still potentially congregate locally without all the travel and the commitment and financial commitment and everything, come together to consume the conference, the virtual conference, but in a small personal group setting with our, you know, within our regional.
Yeah, but like a watch party, 6 feet away from each other.
Like a freaking watch party, man. You know?
I mean,
Like
real
rent an
deal.
outdoor movie theater.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Drive
like
up.
a drive-in.
Man, we could in Detroit. We could be off the water band. You got to hook this up, bro.
I'm trying. Lynn, what's up, Lynn?
Well, Lynn's gonna rent. Is Lynn gonna rent the space that we're doing?
Let me
We'll put
know,
this-
Lynn.
we'll put this on
Get
you,
a
Lynn.
projector. It'd be amazing. We'll all be standing 6 feet apart, like it'll be really apocalyptic looking, and then we'll just be watching the big screen of like the webinar or something. Anyway, I don't know, something like that. So going off of the conference idea though. So let's see here. Going off of the oh yeah, look at the Perry. Hey Perry, you don't even know what you're signing up for now, Perry. Look at you, Perry, taking notes, man. Worldwide ERC marketing team taking notes on all the suggestions here. This is great. I love you, Perry. Lynn says we want the regions to join us, whether virtually or with watch parties. And then John says need some after the final rose post game sessions to drill down further.
Like.
Yep. Nice. So I want to move from the virtual content. I want to move into something else that's kind of becoming a bigger deal as we're more virtual, and that is crafting your personal brand, especially in a virtual environment. You know, and I think we're fortunate today on our panel to have some really people that are pretty amazing at that, you know, and do it in different ways. I think, which is also kind of cool too, because there's not just one way to do it. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'd love to kind of go around the horn and just, you know, what does that mean to you, and what do you think some ideas could be for people that are watching the show? You want me to? Okay, I'm going to call on people. Here I go.
I want you to start it off, Ben.
Yeah, why don't you start, Ben?
You're branding it up yourself, baby.
I'm
want to have it.
Wait. You talk when we don't want you to. Now we've asked you to, so go.
Rep the breezy.
All right, here I go.
You start with a hat.
Choose your hat carefully. Step 2, turn on the camera. No, I think that your personal brand, first of all, just to kind of define it, in my opinion, is your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not around, right? And back in the day, our parents called it your reputation, right? And it's really the same thing. Your reputation is your personal brand. Personal brand is just kind of a fancy way to say reputation, and might include a hat or a fashion element, right?
3-piece suit.
Or something. You know, I'm wearing a 0-piece suit right now, Chris, just to clarify. I don't always wear 3-piece suits. But no, I think that's one thing to realize is it's really just your reputation. There's no special sauce behind it. But the other thing about it, I think, is being genuine and authentic and really opening yourself up, so that people can really get to know who you really are. And one of the things that's come with this is, because I've done a lot of this, I think people can really start to get a feel for who I am. And once people, you know you and they trust you and then they like you, then they might want to do business with you. Or maybe they'll trust you to give advice on other things, or maybe they'll just want to be your friend or whatever. And all those are successful outcomes as far as, you know, the way I look at it. But now that I've shared, I'd love to hear what y'all think about it.
So Ben, were you going to call me?
Christina.
Okay. No, I was going to ask you a question. So when it comes to working with people, generally speaking, on my end, and of course the client end, you want to work with your friends. Kind of in return, you're not going to let your friends down either. So I think that goes into reputation, creating that relationship, or creating those relationships and really getting yourself out there. myself personally, I know I'm not for everybody on social media. Really, the only thing that's off subject and off topic for me is politics and religion. Definitely want to keep that off of social media as much as possible. But the rest, it is what it is. You get what you get. So, you know, I like to, at the end of the day, I really like to make people laugh. So if I post a video that's making maybe necessarily fun of myself, but if it can make 30 people laugh, then that makes me happy. And I find, you know, satisfaction in that. But
why do you, I want to ask you a question about what you said though. Why do you think that making fun of yourself is a why do you think that's why have you found success with that?
I wouldn't say making fun of myself, but we all know that I can't play the violin, but it is fun. I know that, you know, if it's making Colby laugh or if it's making you guys on this call laugh, I think it's hilarious. So I don't know, just to lighten things up opposed to all the negative stuff that's going on in the world right now.
I think what I take from that too is that you're showing your personality. I mean, because it's not like you're changing. You're not changing anything for social media. You're not like, oh, I'm gonna act like this and try to make people laugh when I don't like, you know, laughter in general. You know, like I think that a lot of people, and Ben, you've done a great job with your personal brand because your reputation precedes you. That's why I said yes to this call. So just by the way. No, but I think the best thing to do is just do you know, and whatever you feel comfortable with, and it doesn't have to be in video form. I mean, I think a lot of people get this whole digital thing wrong. They think it has to be an interview process or like a video or whatever. If you are just all about the words, you're a wordsmith, write something, you know, write a blog, write a something and put it out there to give some value to other people. But really just be yourself and rock it out, and it'll be fun, at least for you. If nobody else likes it, at least you'll have some fun.
Thomas, what?
If you're laughing, that's all that matters.
That, you know what?
Exactly.
I think that's such an underrated standard, though. I think that we always look at other people and say, did they like it? Did anybody like it? Did anybody comment? Did anybody share it? It's like, did you like it? If you liked it, that's it.
I'm a big like collector.
That's cool.
I'll admit it.
Have you ever put something out there you thought was hilarious and nobody liked it, but you were like, that was actually really funny, and forget them?
But then then you don't have that moment. Yeah, you don't have that moment though when you're like, maybe that was too far.
Oh, I have that every Saturday morning.
Or no.
You gotta be honest though. Like when nobody laughs and you think it's hilarious, you gotta think like maybe, just maybe, that might have been inappropriate.
Every Saturday and Sunday morning, I think that. I have those exact thoughts.
But I mean, you can have those thoughts around everything, though. I mean, that's just self-doubt in general, you know? Like, it could be around a joke. It could be around a post. It could be around a presentation that nobody claps at the end of. It could be around a lot of things. You know, I asked the guy on the podcast this week, I asked the guy a question, and he just looked at me like I was an idiot. And I'm like, was that a bad question? Or are you an idiot? Yeah, I can't tell, like, what's happening here. But, you know, you just have those things. I think you got to push that self-doubt out, though, a little bit. And, like, you have to, like you said, do you. Like, you really do have to trust your own instincts on things and just make that your standard, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're probably going to slip up as you build your brand, but that's, like, part of the journey of figuring out what works for you and what doesn't, I think. So, like, maybe you throw something out there, it falls a little flat, and you're like, oh, lesson learned. I will do less of that next time and maybe a little bit more of this. So I think it's like it's all worth putting out there as you're figuring it out. And it's just part of the process of finding your voice and like what works best for you.
Well, and there's reasons it could fall flat too. Some of it's not necessarily how the content was. You know, Erin, you could share an article and I could share an article and we could get vastly different responses just because where we are kind of in our engagement with the people, you know? So if you're starting out in this, you know, people that are watching, if you're starting out trying to develop an audience or let people know who you are and people aren't engaging with it, it doesn't necessarily mean the content is not good or what you're doing is not good. They just haven't gotten enough of a sample yet to warm up to you yet.
And it could also mean that
which is
it
why
might
you
not
have
happen the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think too, like that's a perfect point, Ben. I mean, I feel like it could also be the audience, you know, if you're trying to do something a little different than what you've been doing, like if I'm always selling or promoting to like moving and storage companies, and then I drop something that's super mobility related, and all of a sudden it falls flat. Ben could post the same thing because he has more mobility contacts, and it would just flourish, So if you don't just change up the game, maybe check to see if you're even in the right arena. So just figure that out, connect with more people, and that's why it's really important to have a huge network as well, because you cover all the bases. That's why I go to ERC. So back to ERC.
What about you, Chris?
So yeah, like talking about brand, it's something I don't really like to do, but
why is that? Why don't you like talking about it?
Well, like talking about my brand, I don't know. You brought up the point reputation being part of our brand. I felt like we went to like social media and being yourself. I think like doing your job and being good at your job, word of mouth. Like I think that is how you build your reputation. And you can post a million, hilarious, informative, posts or whatever. But if it comes down to it, you don't return calls, you're not reliable on the day to day. Like it's all for naught. So when I think of brand, I think of not just like social media, but doing your job and the day to day. That's the reputation you want to build.
That is such a fantastic point, though, Chris, because like your platform is in your company and in your industry and in your space and with your clients, and your platform is interpersonal, real life interactions. And I know, and I actually wanted to kind of go around and ask people about this because I think we all kind of have different favorite platforms for building our brands. Some are online platforms, some are in-person platforms, some are a combination of both. Where is your favorite space to build your brand and express yourself? Maybe we won't even say build your brand because it almost sounds like we're doing it for that end goal, which is kind of cheesy, right? But like, where's your favorite space to express yourself?
Well, I'll go. On a personal level, I like Instagram a lot, and it's just because of the way it's built. It's just so easy to interact with people. It's so easy to. They've just done a great job evolving, that platform for quite some time. But professionally, obviously LinkedIn. I mean, I know a lot of people professionally go for Facebook, but that's just not my thing. But LinkedIn has come a long way since I'm sure all of us first logged in, and created our accounts. They've done a great job at allowing you the ability to kind of just spread out and have your whatever post kind of catch fire a little bit. So they've done a good job too. So Instagram and LinkedIn are my things.
Dude, your Instagram is so amazing though, Thomas. Seriously, it's like so inspirational. Like I hate your stuff. Like as I'm liking it, I hate you at the same time because your fitness is so ridiculous. Your food, your discipline, like the way that I'm seeing you starting running clubs in your community. Like I have too much respect for what you're doing. Honestly, I really do.
I appreciate that, man.
Fantastic. So what you do on the gram is really great, and it's not like typical like Instagram stuff. Like you think Instagram, you think like Instagram models or something, or like kind of like super travel stuff. But yours is I don't know, it's like real life, your journey kind of being documented, if you will.
Yeah.
What is important about the way that you communicate on that platform? And Christina, I want to ask you something similar because I know you use different platforms.
You said what was the question, Ben?
What are some of the ways that are important for you to communicate on that platform for people that are watching? Okay. Like, what are some of the ways that you found some success and found your niche on that?
The same way, the telling the truth is how I found success on LinkedIn and Instagram. When I was just doing that whole post, like kind of like what Chris said, when I was doing that post just to make it try to hit or something like that, and try to get a post out there. It just didn't work. The more that I talked about like my actual life, what I really think about things, and just sharing my truth, because obviously a bunch of you guys know that I run a lot, and in the running community, I guess there's a lot of people out there that just post everything like they're super fast all the time, like they feel great. But I tell the truth and say like, hey, I had a bad day today or whatever, you know? So I think just telling the truth on all platforms will create a huge following around you because people love authenticity.
Yeah. And they also love to see you fail.
Exactly. So that's part of authenticity. Like, hey, that guy failed miserably. It's great.
Haters gonna hate.
He might have ruptured his Achilles. Let's tune in tomorrow to see if that really happened.
And ain'ters gonna ain't.
But Christina, you're also super active on platforms. Where do you find that you excel most?
I'd probably say Facebook. But I would also say that's probably because that's the first one that I started on. I accept everyone and anyone. I'm not the person that's going to defriend somebody because I have a difference of opinion. So yeah, I virtually, I mean, I just had a meeting with a client not too long ago and I found out that we were connected on Facebook and I had no idea. And I was like, oh boy, whoops. But yeah, I would say Facebook to complement what, you know, Thomas said, same thing. I mean, you got to be real. You got to, I don't know, there's no point in sugarcoating everything. Am I going to lie and say I don't put a filter on everything? No, I mean, sometimes I lighten up my photos to make it look a little better, but it is what it is. I'm not going to lie about it.
As I check right now.
So it's interesting though what you're saying, Christina. It's interesting, right? Because you had a meeting with a client who you're connected with on Facebook, and you cringed a little bit, and you're like, "Oh crap," you know? Why is that?
No, I don't know. I guess, like I said, I kind of put it all out there. I do, you know, there is a professional side to complement what Chris said. You know, I do my job, I put my head down, but at the same time, I like to have fun while I do it. So if you get the fun side of me, you might not take the serious side. So maybe you have to work with me first to understand that there's a serious Christina opposed to the make you want to laugh Christina.
But the interesting part is also that client is meeting with you, knowing who you are, and consuming all of that content that you're putting out there, and still wants to meet with you, right?
Yeah.
So it's like net positive, right? Isn't that?
Well, yeah. After you found out that they already know about it, then you're good.
No, I just kind of thought like, what did I post last weekend?
And I think that though that's kind of a key thing too. And Thomas, you talked about it, and Christina, you talked about it. It's like sometimes when you put stuff out there that makes you uncomfortable, that is sometimes when you know like you're kind of being truthful and you're being honest and you're being open and vulnerable. And I think that is what people like that stuff. People that resonates with them, no?
Yeah, it's not enough people that just tell it how it really is, you know. Maybe because it doesn't. I mean, sometimes you don't feel great about it though, you know, like it's not like one of those moments where, oh, I just posted the best thing in the world. Sometimes your truth isn't all that great, and people like the honesty because we're all humans out here. We all do and have things that we don't like, you know.
Well, and I think you have to figure out what you want to do as well. I remember when I first started my career, my mentor at the time told me, you always want to keep work and personal life separate. You know, then I realized like early on in my career, right when I started getting into business development and meeting more people, like work is my personal life. I do take it personally. So that's when I started merging the two together and, you know, growing those relationships outside of my personal life or merging the professional side into my personal. And, you know, I think that kind of goes hand in hand with, you know, what we do for a living. It's a very mixed group of people. And I think some of my closest friends work in this industry. And I don't know that I would necessarily have those relationships if it was just meeting at a meeting or meeting at a conference and not taking them home into your social media or your personal life and so on and so forth.
Do any of the other folks here, do you guys also feel that same boundary where it's like personal and business and never the two shall meet, and you kind of want to have that kind of that boundary there?
I feel like that's generally the attitude, at least. You know, I've been in Relo basically my entire career has been in Relo. But I feel like first coming in, that was more the attitude. And so I think people probably older than us are kind of more that attitude. And then everyone that's kind of coming up behind us is a little bit more mixing the two. To be controversial, I recently turned off Instagram and considering dropping all platforms. So,
ooh, tell me why. I have to understand this.
Yes, because I felt like the breadth was taking away from depth of like real life friends. like people that I see regularly. And so and I think some of it is like pandemic, everyone's stuck at home. It's like, you know, you can only deal with so much, like everyone's stressed, but it's like, oh, someone I went to one college class with, like, do I really care what they do with their life anymore? And so I feel like, you know, 20 years ago, you would have maybe seen these people at a reunion, but you wouldn't have otherwise like kept up with the scale of people. And it's just a lot. It's a lot of people. So I've scaled back, and I do not regret it in any way.
I respect that so much that you can say that too. I mean, especially as like we're like talking about how we love all these platforms and we do all this stuff. And I respect the fact that you're talking about dropping all of them. I love the fact that Chris is like, yeah, not so much. I'm more of an in-person kind of, you know, person with reputation, and you can see just how many people are loving that as well. In fact, Michelle Velasquez says, I've never heard a YP40 sound so wise. That hurts me, Michelle. No, but I think it's interesting that we all have different takes on this, because I think that, you know, I'm going to use the M word, millennials, right? I think millennials are categorized, and people say, oh, millennials are like this, and millennials, you know, can't get them off the gram. You know, when are you going to do some work? And they all want a promotion.
Gram.
Yeah, I'm just so stuck on the gram.
So stuck
Like
on the gram.
I'm in like a meeting, just scrolling through the gram.
But I scroll through LinkedIn like that in meetings, so I mean, I get it. You know, that does happen. It does happen. But now, Christina, you said something before that I think was interesting, right? Because like you're meeting with this client.
Oh boy, come on.
No,
Let's
can't
talk about
pass.
that more.
Let's unpack that. Let's names. We need names.
Who's the client?
What was said?
Let's move on.
Links to posts.
But speaking of, okay, so something.
Okay, no, I'm the moderator here. Okay, I have a question. Okay, you can't get me off track. All right,
I'd rather her talk though, honestly, man.
Isn't your Wi-Fi supposed to cut out soon?
Ben, we're losing you. Can anyone still hear Ben?
No.
Can we mute him?
Christina, the floor is yours. I yield to the distinguished lady from Texas.
All right. So what kind of uncomfortable question are you about to ask me?
It wasn't an uncomfortable question. I think it's a moment that we all share where we're like, if I put all this stuff out there, and if I'm funny, and if I'm humorous, and if I'm vulnerable, are people going to take me seriously? And I think that this is a question that plagues young professionals. Mm-hmm. It's a question of credibility, right? Here we are, we're business people, right? We're trying to establish our domain knowledge, our domain authority, our credibility in this industry, our networks. And how do we balance vulnerability and authenticity with credibility in our space?
Stay true to your word. You know, when it comes to a business standpoint, if you say something, follow through. I think follow through is a big thing within our industry. And I don't know, I mean, it seems a little bit more simple than the question you just asked.
Okay, this is an hour-long program. I'm going to need you to just drag that out a little bit for me. Okay?
Oh, we gotta go.
I mean, no, I think, can I use you as an example, Ben?
Yes, you may.
All right. So we all know you fairly well. No, but you're okay. I'm not supposed to cuss, so no. Okay, so you're full of it half the time, right? But then you're all about business the other time, and we all know that, though, right? So when Ben comes to a party, we know he's about to be a lot of fun. But if you bring up anything about relocation or mobility, he knows the answers. So I think it just goes back to just knowing your stuff. I mean, I think all of us know what we do very well. And that's the way it is. Like, I don't think you should try to not be who you are, not be funny. But like Christina said, just when it comes time to work, get it done. You know, and just be known for knowing the answers, known for knowing what you know, that you're a fun guy, but you do what you got to do. You get it done. And I think that like this whole millennial thing versus like the older generations, they acted the same way we do. They just might have had, you know, suits on with cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? It's like they had fun too. Like, you know, it's not like we're the first ones that have fun and laugh and play, you know? So I just think you just got to know what you're doing.
Thomas, I think you're making his head bigger than what it already is.
I'll use Chris on the next one since he's yeah.
Right.
I want to shout out Lynn Shotwell right here. Says, I'm old school, but huge advocate for volunteering. Expand your network and your skills by getting involved in things that matter to you, whether work related or not. Thoughts?
Well, yeah.
Totally agree.
There's
Chris?
also, yeah, I agree with that too. I was like, there is a lot of overlap too between like what we do in the relo industry, and there are a lot of nonprofits that do kind of refugee resettlement that's actually very, very similar to what you get like as a relo package, except without the benefits of that. So there are a lot of other like good organizations that are kind of tailored to even something very similar to what we do or have experience with.
Michelle brings up a good point. I think our industry requires a bit of overlap between personal and quote professional life. Relocation is very personal for our clients, and it helps us show empathy and compassion if we also understand what our clients go through as their professional and personal lives bleed together. Yeah, that's a great point. You know, these people are relocating their personal lives for their work, and so in a lot of ways, our
Right.
industry as a macro mirrors that micro experience. Thoughts?
I'm gonna say that next time somebody brings it up. Like, yep. Well, you heard what Mickey V said.
The macro mirrors the micro.
Well, in a way, it really is just an extrapolation of the micro. This is how I get people to take me seriously. These big words.
And everywhere you go, there you are, right? Like when you're not being yourself, people are going to notice. And if you want to be a trusted advisor, and that, you know, that's really important to being successful in mobility. If you're not being yourself, you're going to come through as disingenuous, and you're never going to build the relationships you want. So that would just be my 2 cents on being original. Period.
I'd like to dwell on that for a second, Chris. Am I cutting out? I'd like to dwell on that for a second though, because you were talking about building your reputation, and I think the reputation and the credibility thing kind of go hand in hand. So maybe give us some more tips there for young professionals that are watching this, and give us some tips there on building that credibility in the real world, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, you know, the things that you do every day are like, it sounds a little cliche. The things you do when no one's watching is like, that's character. That, you know, that's kind of what your reputation is built off of. I think it's just, you know, adding value. It's what you do Monday through Friday, not necessarily what you post on, you know, in the evening time. So I think as long as you're focused on, you know, in every interaction, you add value. The social media, the posts that you have, it reflects you, and it's also, you know, informational too. I think, you know, that's important, and don't lose sight of that. Was that a good answer? Does that sound right?
I think that was a good answer.
Sounded
It was a B for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, strong B++, perhaps. Kristen says, on the flip side, as a corporate representative working within the HR field for our companies, we have to have a bit more reservation when representing ourselves in a public way. You know, that's a great point, right? So we are all on the service provider side, right? Which means we get a little more latitude. A lot of us are in, you know, client development roles, you know, instead of being corporate HR practitioners. And this comes out a lot. This comes out a lot as I see this when, you know, when I'm asking HR folks to come on the show, for instance, right, and talk. And they're like, well, I can't really represent my company. I can't really say things. It's proprietary. It's part of our talent strategy. There's a million reasons why they can't speak, you know. And I think that's really worth talking about a little bit. Have any of you worked in a role where you felt like you couldn't really be as vocal maybe as you wanted to be, or how did you toe that line?
I mean, I've worked at I have 2 corporate roles. One, I was an intern in a mobility role. And like, so I was, definitely trying to act way more professional than I was, but even still, like, it was a bit awkward.
And you work for your mom.
And I worked for my mom, so I had that. But as far as like,
Christopher, get off the gram.
Trying to conduct yourself professionally when you know, like, you're just an undergrad from UMass. there's an interesting dynamic of having to like be something you're not really, but you think you might want to be this professional. But yeah.
I mean, I think we all have parts of our personalities and things that we, even though we're saying that we're, you know, being ourselves as much as possible. I mean, we all leave something, you know, at home. You know, like when we're at the conferences and things like that, we're having a good time and all that, but we're not. I think that we all, you know, we don't just all let it all loose. So I mean, everybody has to. There's in certain situations where I may not have as much fun as I'm having on this call, which is in hindsight stupid because there's people watching this that I wouldn't say something. Okay, I'm done. Talk to you guys later. Ending call.
Well, Erin and Kaitlin, I'd love to hear from you on this too. I mean, what are your thoughts about some of this?
About what?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just
props to Kristen for playing devil's advocate over there.
Yeah. No, I was just saying. What do you think about, you know, the fact that in some roles or with some companies or some company cultures, you can't be as open, and so you have to be a little more reserved. And have you been in a role like that where you had to kind of watch what you said, and how did you feel about that?
So I can speak to this from my past life working at a marketing agency. That's my background is in marketing and journalism. So when you're representing clients in all different industries and really just, you know, helping them build their brand, reach a certain audience, produce content that's going to resonate with that audience, you're there to advise them to an extent. But at the same time, that's not your company. You don't work for that company. You just represent them. So sometimes remembering, even if you feel very strongly for or against something they may or may not be considering, at the end of the day, that's their decision. And you have to do your best to deliver based on what they decide they want to do. Taking all of your personal opinions out of it.
Sure. And when you were at that company, did you feel like you were free to have a personal brand or make statements about your industry, about your job, maybe not even necessarily on behalf of the company, but just to have an opinion?
I did. I will say I scaled back on Facebook because I felt that's where they were the most active, not like the brand itself, but the people I dealt with every day. So I kind of slowly wound down my posting, but I'm a very active Instagrammer.
And is that because you're not connected with your coworkers on Instagram?
Correct.
And what's your Instagram handle?
It's private.
I'll private chat that to you.
No, I feel you because I've actually blocked coworkers before. You know, like it wasn't. I've recently unblocked everybody, but at one point, you know, I was trying to establish my brand, and I mean, because even LinkedIn, like for a while, LinkedIn was like, oh, why are you doing that? Even though it seems like it's so obvious why a client development person would be on LinkedIn. But you know, like I was trying to be as active as possible, and sometimes people in the company that are other positions, like, you know, your colleagues don't understand that you get to do these things. So I had to just block them, you know, so I could just get my shine on, you know.
Sometimes you gotta shine. Like, I mean, you know, in a client development role, Thomas, I mean, do you feel today that you can do whatever you want on LinkedIn? I mean, as a client development director?
I mean, yeah, I could do whatever I want. No, not at all. No, so the thing.
So does the Purple Dawn just let the reins loose and just say run?
So what? The good thing about having some of our bosses with the age thing, not saying he's old or anybody else is old, they just happen to be older than me. They don't necessarily all the time. Never mind. So I think it's really great to build your personal brand as big as possible. Then some of the things that you say, it kind of detaches from your company. So if you only post once every month or so, once a month or so, you're pretty much, people assume you're speaking for your company. But at this point, you know, when I speak, they know they're familiar with me. They're familiar with my personal brand. So if I say something that's a little off, they're not like, oh wow, ReloTrans, thinks this. It's very important to have your brand, so it's not always like you're representing or speaking for your company, I think.
Makes a lot of sense. We've got, we still got about 30 people on LinkedIn, a dozen people on Facebook right now. If you're watching this right now, please hit that like button. It lets everybody else know that we are live right now, and they can check it out. Even if they don't chime in now, they can always come back to it. So I appreciate that very much. There's something really special that I want to do right now. This year, YP40 turns 10, which means we started this when we were YP30. So YP40 turns 10, and it's really due to some really great leadership in the beginning. And I want to shout out Heidi Hume from Worldwide ERC for believing in this idea of YP40. I think this started as kind of just a weird little lark, and with a little bit of support, it kind of grew into something really cool that touched a lot of young professionals' lives in the relocation industry. So we've done something really special for Heidi, who is leaving Worldwide ERC. Today is her last day after 20 years being at the association. So we did a little something special for him, for Heidi. Christina, you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready, Ben?
I'm ready.
All right. Hi, Heidi. Happy Friday. There's a few of us that have a few things to say. I personally want to thank you for all of your hard work and dedication to ERC, YP40. YP, happy birthday. Happy 10 year. Getting me involved. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Heidi, we're going to miss you so much. You were my entry point into ERC so many years. It was because of you that I got my Meritorious Service Award. It was because of you that I got my Distinguished Service Award. And it was because of you that I got my SCRP right here. So I appreciate you so much. You gave me opportunities to write all these articles and really get my voice out there. So I thank you so much. I wish you the best of luck in whatever you choose to do in the future. Thank you so much for everything you've done for YP, for Worldwide ERC, and for me personally. Take care, Heidi.
Heidi, congratulations on closing out a wonderful 20-year career with Worldwide ERC. I so enjoyed my opportunity to work with you when we were there together. Everything from how you took on, managing the YP40 group to being a champion for our members with our community platform. Wish you the best of luck. Love you.
Heidi, thank you for being a great friend and a great resource for me and all the other YP40s over these last few years. I can't wait to hear more about your new role and see you out and about in the circuit.
Hey, Heidi, thank you so much for all that you've done. Thank you for being so welcoming to all of us. Thank you for showing us all the ropes and starting YP40. You have no idea how much that group has probably impacted the mobility industry as a whole. Really, the industry would be nothing without you. So just said that on camera. Everybody else who had something to do with it, don't be mad at me. But Heidi is pretty much thebomb.com. Thank you so much. We really are going to miss you. Best of luck in the future. See you soon. Don't block me on LinkedIn because I'm still going to probably bother you.
I had the privilege of working with Heidi for 3 consecutive years on the YP40 committee, so I did get to spend a lot of time with her. And one of the things that I love the most about working with her is the grace she showed to all of us as we came through the committee. With us being fairly newer to the industry and newer to leadership positions, she did a lot to show us the right way to get things done. We would all come in with this long laundry list of things that we wanted to do to change the industry. But she knew the right path and she guided us along that path. And I really appreciate that. I've learned so much from her and I'm going to miss her at Worldwide ERC, but I'm excited to work with her in her next chapter. Thank you so much, Heidi, for all you've done.
Hey, Heidi, it's Julius. I just want to say thank you so much for everything you did for me when I was young in ERC and you pushed me into the committee and to be part of YP40. And it made such a difference in my career. You'll never know. And I'm just so grateful for you for that. And I'm really proud of the boot camp that we got off the ground. I'm sure you had to pull some crazy strings and ask some favors to get that approved, but we did, and it's going strong. And hopefully we can keep it going. It'll be tough without you there for sure. But I can't wait to see what you do in your career. I know it's going to be great. And I just wish you and your family the best. And I can't wait to see you when we're allowed to, hopefully soon. Take care.
Hey Heidi, it's YP40 circa 2017 here. I wanted to congratulate you on the 10th anniversary of the YP40 program, but also I want to thank you for your dedication to this incredible program and making sure and giving our young professionals of our industry not only a voice, but a foundation to grow from. Thanks so much for everything that you've done. Cheers.
Hi, Heidi. This is Robin Tierney. Just wanted to say thank you for all that you've done for YP40, for WERC, and for me personally. Thank you for helping to cultivate a mindset of creativity, of thinking about our future, thinking about the industry and the legacy that we leave to our future leaders. You have been an amazing mentor and a good friend. I wish you the best of luck on your next adventure and excited to see what the future holds for you.
Hi, Heidi. Wow, what a big week for you, closing the chapter on over 20 years with ERC and leaving behind that big legacy, over 10 years with YP40. You've made such a difference for so many of us as we've grown up in this industry and figured our way through it. And I thank you for always making me look better and making everybody around you look better and being such a joy to know. And I'm so excited for your next chapter. You're going to be amazing.
Heidi, thank you for everything that you've done for Worldwide ERC and its members over the years. And in particular, thank you for your support and leadership of YP40. Congratulations on your new role and next stop in the mobility industry.
Hey everyone, my name is Perry Byrne. I am the marketing manager here at Worldwide ERC, and I've had the pleasure of working with Heidi for 1/20th of her career at this company. I am super excited to be assuming her role as the Worldwide ERC representative on the YP40 committee. I know we're certainly set up for great success with the foundation that you've laid. Just know you'll never age out. You'll always be a YP40. We'll never check your ID. We appreciate everything that you've done. We wish you the best of luck in your future, and I'm sure we'll be coming to you for advice in the not so distant future.
All right. Ben?
No, that was so awesome. Christina, thank you so much for putting that together. Thank you everybody that appeared in that video. I think that was just so amazing. Heidi is literally crying right now, which is great. That's always my goal, to make people cry. But no, but seriously, Heidi, you've been amazing. I wouldn't be here right now without you, and about that you taking me under your wing and just kind of involving me in stuff. And it sounds like you've done that for a lot of people. I thought I was special, but it sounds like you've done that for a lot of people. Sorry to make it about me again. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
The whole video.
Keep building the brand.
Like, dang, man. Thought I was special.
He sure is working.
Oh, this is great. This has been really cool, everybody. I guess I want to wrap, but I want to give everybody an opportunity to have a last word here. So let's go around the horn real quick and just kind of wrap it up and let us know what your thoughts are real quick as we go around. Christopher Ward.
Yeah, so I am looking forward to hosting more YP40 virtual events. That's the reality of our world right now. So keep an eye out. More exciting things to come. And not last but not least, congratulations, Ben, on 100 shows.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you very much. Kaitlin.
Thanks, Ben, for hosting. Thanks, Heidi, for all that you've done. And to echo Chris, I'm looking forward to more virtual events. We'll see what they look like. We'll be continuing to talk more about that, I'm sure, in the next couple of weeks and months, and hopefully not years.
Thank you very much, Kaitlin. Erin?
Sorry, I was muted. Looking forward to seeing how the YP40 group can work to make the next virtual event awesome. Ben, thanks for having us. Heidi, I'm so glad that I can text you whenever I want. And I hope everyone has a great weekend.
Thanks, Erin. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for being here. Thomas?
Just want to say thank you to Heidi for all that she's done, and obviously she's made all of us feel very special in her own way. So thank you so much, Heidi, and thank you, Ben, for doing this. And I'm really looking forward to the virtual events coming up. I mean, because if anybody's watching this that wants to do a virtual event, you know, on a bigger scale, they need to kind of model it after something like this, because this is great. So keep doing what you're doing, brother. And maybe one day I'll be like important enough to possibly be on LOVE+RELO. I don't know.
Playing, bro. I think we already got you scheduled for July 9th.
2021.
Still getting clearances from Perdido, but we'll see if that goes through. Christina Blondheim, my partner in crime, finish this off.
Thank you, Ben, for hosting a fabulous show. Congratulations on your 100 episode week. Heidi, seriously, thank you. ERC, thank you. I'm looking forward to the future virtual conference. I think it's going to be neat. We'll be able to get our team involved and everything along those lines. I just, I want to see what next week holds. I think there's always that uncertainty, so we'll see. I just want to get there.
Hey, thanks everybody for being here. Thank you all for joining in the comments and just getting it popping. Again, thank you so much, Heidi. Thank you, Worldwide ERC, for allowing YP40s to have a voice and a platform. So thanks to everybody who got involved, and we look forward to doing more content like this. Let us know if there's anything else you'd like to see, and have a wonderful weekend. Take care, everybody.
Thanks.